Boy, keep saying it. Keep saying it. Nobody wants to listen to me. I am getting too old for this shit. Turning 40 in like 7 months. This is not how a 40-year-old man is supposed to live, spend his life. This is not healthy. This is madness. This is absolute madness. But we love it. We love it because Knicks fandom is in our blood, for better or worse. We root for this crazy freaking team. And this was a crazy freaking game tonight, but they won, and that's all that matters. There's thanks, Andrew. There's going to be a lot to talk about tonight. I think mostly good because it's a win, but I'm sure there's going to be some not so good as well, which is fine. It's like games like this. There's going to be a lot of feelings. There's going to be a lot of stuff that comes out. I'm happy. I'm happy for two reasons. And those are the reasons I'll start with, and then I'll hit on maybe some other quick points, and then we'll get to the chats because I'm sure the chats are going to be on fire tonight. Reason number one that I'm happy. Credit to Benji Ridholtz. Benji is like our Yoda. He's younger than me, but he's our Yoda. And he said it with a couple minutes, I think, left in overtime. And he said, look, there's, good teams end up in these games. And the difference between the good teams, I think everybody ends up in these games. Teams that are good and teams that are mediocre, and then teams maybe that are a little bit worse than mediocre. And if you're a good team, you find a way to pull it out. I think Charlotte hit a lot of shots. They were feeling it tonight. They were playing loosey-goosey. Their guys were out. The whole thing. Okay, fine. You're in the game at the end. Pull it out. Figure out a way to pull out the game. Make enough plays. Out-execute the other team. So that's number one. For the fact that, yes, this is the Hornets team that people thought, even if they were healthy, the Knicks might be better than, and they were missing, two of their best players, three if you want to, count Miles Bridges. But they won, and they figured out a way to pull it out. And this was not their best game. A lot of guys did not have their best game, but they pulled it out. And the reason they pulled it out, and this is the second reason I'm happy. One, Jalen Brunson. I wrote after the Pistons. I wrote all through the preseason, spoke about through the preseason, Pistons game, Magic game. Now I get to sit here and say the same thing. This is why you get a point guard. This is why to even say the words, this is why you pay him $104 million is absurd, because the notion in any universe, the Knicks should be counting their lucky stars, family relations, agency relations, whatever. I don't care. They should still be counting their lucky stars. Everybody who has a job there, who's the potential of retaining their job depends on this team's performance this season. They should kiss the ground that Jalen Brunson walks on and count their lucky stars that he decided to take their $104 million and leave a team that if he had stayed, you could probably call a true blue championship contender. And now that he's gone, I'm not sure that they are anymore. That's neither here nor there. Dallas could worry about that. Jalen Brunson's fine. I'll read the stat line, but the stat line doesn't begin to tell the story. 27 points on 27 points on 15 shots. I like them apples. 13 assists, career high in his fourth game as a Knick. 7 rebounds, just absolutely huge shot after huge shot after huge shot. I lost count. The threes, the mid range, the little baby mid rangers. Everything you could want. Is he a little small on defense? Yeah, sure. He's a little small on defense. He's never going to be a plus defender. And yeah, did DSJ get him a couple times? Sure, DSJ got him a couple times. Well, guess what? It happens. And if he wasn't a little small on defensive end, if we're talking about someone who was 3 inches taller, well then there's no $104 million conversation, because then he is a automatic extend for the max, because with what he does on the offensive end of the floor and the effort he plays with and the off the court locker room leadership. I commented on our playback. Shout out to all of our patrons who were there. That that when Rebecca Harlow asked him a question about like his, like the fact his was a career high in assists or whatever she asked him, something about like his performance, literally the first words out of the man's mouth, I have great teammates. Really? Yes, I'm glad you said that. But you know what your great teammates would have done if this game was last year and you weren't on the team? I lost count of the ways that they would have lost this game. And they won it this year. And they won it because of Jalen Brunson. And all credit to him. Other contributions, but like if you're going to be a good team, you got to have a best player, and he's their best player. I almost don't even want to talk about it, anything else now in the preamble, because I know it's all going to come up. I'll give one other shout out. Mitchell Robinson played 37 minutes tonight. There were some plays that maybe weren't great. Did he like overcommit on, I think, one of the Dennis Smith Jr. drives, the wraparound pass to, I forget who was trailing that ended up with a dunk. Yeah, there was maybe a foul or two, somewhere in there that weren't ideal. He ended up with 2 fouls. But the man, again, 37 minutes was a lot for him. Ended up with 6 blocks, changed countless other shots. I thought the way he came out to start the game defensively was awesome, even though the rest of the Knicks were like, on defense. I thought Mitchell Robinson had a really, really nice game. And then, you know what? I'm not even gonna mention the Knicks' other 2 top bananas. I'm gonna save that for the comments, because I think there was some good and I think there was some bad involved with RJ Barrett and Julius Randle. And my opinion was that one of those guys brought more good than the other did, and less bad than the other did. And I have a feeling it might be a different opinion than consensus, which is why I'll save it for the comments. But I will give one more comment before I get to the super chats. And that's for Cam Reddish. I spent the entire summer basically acting as if Cam Reddish was like a ball boy on this team, a ball boy who was due $5.9 million this year. He did not factor into my calculation for this team at all as far as a rotation player. I thought there was a precisely 0% chance that he would get rotation minutes. Even if there was an injury, I think I've written this. I think I said, like, I think Tibbs would sooner go to a 9-man rotation. I don't think he trusts Cam. I don't think he has any reason to trust Cam. And my feeling about that was only strengthened by the preseason. And you know who checked in for a guy, Evan Fournier, who, man, a lot of Knicks fans are going to be talking tonight about if I never see Evan Fournier play another minute for the Knicks again. And this is, by the way, after he went, what did he go tonight? Went 6 for 11 from the field tonight. And people are going to be saying if he never plays another minute for the Knicks, be fine by me. And you know what? I'm not going to disagree with those people, but I digress. Cam Reddish came in for Evan Fournier when Evan Fournier fouled out with about 3 minutes left in regulation. Played the last, obviously, 8 minutes, 3 minutes regulation, 5 minutes overtime, and made some really nice defensive plays, really important defensive plays. Held his own, took one shot, didn't make that one shot, the open 3-pointer, catch and shoot. But that's fine. He had another catch and shoot opportunity in the fourth quarter. I think Julius dished it to him, made that one. Again, the numbers, that was his only field goal. Played 25 minutes. I was happy for the kid. He closed out this game with the rest of the starters, and I was wondering in the moment, should it have been Derrick Rose instead? You take the smaller player on defense because of the shot making, because of he's been there, he's done that, the whole thing. You win the game, it's the right decision. And looks like Tibbs made the right decision because they won the game. And I think Cam added more than he took away, certainly. So give him the last shout out here. I don't know if those are going to be my stars of the game in the newsletter. I got to think about that. I'm going to have a tough call. I may give Jalen Brunson all the stars. I did that a few times last season. I may give Jalen Brunson all 6 stars. We'll see. Oh boy. 3-1. 3-1 is 3-1 is 3-1. And boy, last thing, did they need this one with this stretch coming up? Because the next 7 games, I've said it, I think, a few times, I think there was a very real chance that they are underdogs in their next 7 games. And we'll go through those maybe before the end of this. But, is 2-5, 3-4, like that feels with their competition like 3-4. I mean, talk about signing for 3-4 right now. If they go 3-4, that means they end it 6-5 after this brutal 7-game stretch. You're still above 500. sign me up for that. That's why you got to win these games. So if you have a tough stretch against the league's very best teams, and they're playing some of the best teams in the next couple of weeks, you cover yourself a little bit. Okay. On that note, I'm going to take a sip of water. I had my Dayquil. I got my Dogfish Head Sequench Ale. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to mix that with Dayquil. What's the worst that could happen? Andrew, whenever you're ready. Of course, the first comment. Robert Cross, is it fair and reasonable to say that Jalen Brunson will lead us to hashtag 53 wins? The man may be the most underrated player in the NBA. He's not going to be underrated for long. And I think you knew he wasn't going to be underrated for long because everybody who knows anything about basketball, I've said this a few times, but like when they talked about the contract after it was signed, like, again, I didn't hear one person be like, that's ridiculous, or like, man, they had to pay to get him. Like, that is commensurate money at worst for this level of player. And I don't know about the most underrated player in the NBA. Do I think there's a chance that we could be talking about him in those terms by the end of the season? Yeah, sure. I think there's a chance. He's awesome. You can't, with the way the game is played today and with the value of efficient shot creation, you cannot say enough about having a guy who can go out and make those baskets for you in that sort of situation. Again, 27 points on 15 shots. That's not crazy for him at all. He's been doing this for years, and it ain't all Luka. So, yeah, Tom Thibodeau and Jalen Brunson down the stretch. That's who he is. You got that right. Next up, Haitian Ferg. What's going on, Haitian? Solid team win. I agree. Solid coaching. Yeah, I think a couple of quibbles. I have quibbles. I'm the Tibbs defender. I have quibbles. We'll talk about the quibbles. I'm not going to talk about the quibbles right now. But I'll a couple of quibbles. But did he coach a good game? Yes, I think he coached a pretty good game. Great point guard play. This is a loss last year, 100%. Love the fourth quarter and overtime defense from Cam. Thank you for pointing that out. And I love the poise from Jalen. Randall as well. I'm happy you shouted out Julius Randle. We were talking about at the end of the playback, is he going to get killed tonight, and does he deserve to get killed tonight? Stat line was not great. The stat line was 7 for 19. Missed a couple in overtime. Also made a massive one in overtime, as well as pulled down a big rebound in the fourth quarter and put it back, and then let out a lot of emotion when he did that. I thought his process tonight was good. As Andrew Claudio pointed out on our playback, did not take one mid-ranger tonight. It was threes, and it was going to the basket. Did he shoot it well tonight? No, didn't shoot it particularly well. Were there a couple more passes that he could have made? Yeah, a couple more passes he could have made. Sure. Is his processing speed on either end of the court ever going to be in the top half of the league? Is it going to be ever in the top 60, 70% of the league? Probably not. But given the drawbacks that we know come with him, I thought he played a good game. So, or let me rephrase that. I thought he was okay. I was proud of him. How about that? We said I was proud of him. I think that's fair. Good comment as always, Haitian. Appreciate that and appreciate the contribution. Next up, Anthony Sixto. What's going on, Anthony? Bizarre night. Refs defensive apathy early. The fight between evil Randall and good Randall in real time. Toe call. The toe call. Yeah, we talking about the toe call. It's toe is on the line. My goodness gracious. I'll take the W. Hashtag Brun Forest Brun. Yeah, I mean, again, I didn't think we saw that much evil Randall tonight. I thought the shots that he took were good shots. Do you want a little bit more playmaking? Yeah, there's the shot chart right now that you're looking at. There's one kind of long-ish mid-ranger, but even that was in the paint. Everything else was around the basket. Missed both of his threes. I think this is who Julius is. And let me put it to you this way. If this is a bad Randall game this year, I think we'll all be happy about that. I'll be happy about that. If this is a bad Randall game this year, this should not be the norm, but if this is a bad game, it's okay. As far as the early defensive apathy, I think it was a lack of. I didn't feel like they went out there and they were lollygagging it on the defensive end. I just thought they weren't very crisp in their like getting out and like covering shooters. And also, I feel like this is a third, at least the second game in a row. Excuse me, Hornets or Magic. Good little team, man. Fun little team. Know what they're doing. Not bad. This Hornets team went out there, executed on offense. And I haven't said his name yet. Dennis Smith Jr., good for him. Good for that dude. He finished the night 37 minutes, was 7 for 16 from the field, 14 points, 11 assists. Didn't make it 3, took 3 threes, missed them all. It's the reason he's going to be a backup point guard. But like for that dude to even be in the league at this point and in a game like this and making big shots down the stretch, it's good job by him. All credit where it's due. Andrew Palladino. Defense was definitely disappointing. Absolutely. Sloppy game, but yet another game the Knicks lose last year. Brunson is clutch enough for this to be a good team. I think they are a good team. I think they're going to continue to be a good team. I think the defense will get cleaned up. I brought it up again. I keep shouting out the playback because we talk a lot about a lot of stuff on there. I think there was a lot of this last year, but even now carrying over to now, the value of Reggie Bullock and how much they miss Reggie Bullock in that starting lineup. Because when you combined Reggie Bullock and his ability to just take whoever the most threatening wing player was, and it's not like he took them out of the game, but like you could put him on whoever that dude was one-on-one and just like, okay, whatever happens, happens. We're going to live with it. And we're going to be cool with that. And then when you had Mitch and Noel as the backstop, or Taj, and then you had RJ and Randall just kind of doing their thing, playing well enough on defense. And then Alfred Payton, again, doing what he was supposed to do. Not well, but he did what he was supposed to do. Brunson's better than Payton. Randall and RJ are still here. I'm not sure either of those guys are much better on defense than they were 2 years ago, if I'm being honest. And Mitch is better, so that's a good thing. But then from Bullock, you go to Fournier. And I'm not trying to blame all this on Fournier. I'm not trying to blame because the defense now, you could not say the defense has been good through 4 games. It has not been good, even though the defensive rating coming into tonight was pretty good. I don't think the defense has been great tonight. I think they've played some crappy offensive teams, and tonight they played a decent one, and look what happened. Hornets fourth ranked offense in the league coming into tonight. That rating might go up. It feels like they need one more. And this goes against what I've been saying. I've been like, Fournier will be fine. He's surrounded in a good defensive ecosystem, the whole thing. He tries-ish, knows where he's supposed to be, and he's there-ish. I think I'm going to back off my own stance on that. It feels like they need one more guy who could defend in the starting lineup, and I am going to be fascinated to see what happens moving forward. And whether it's Grimes or whether it would not shock me if it was Cam. I think they like IQ coming off the bench. I'm not saying IQ wouldn't be deserving of it. I think there's probably a chance it happens. I think they want someone bigger with a little bit more length to get into guys, to guard these big wings. We'll see what happens. That's all I'll say. We'll see what happens. Ryan Huang, what's going on, Ryan? Last year's Knicks would be 1-3 right now. Yeah, we'll be jumping off roofs. What a massive difference Jalen Brunson makes on this team. He is him, capital H. Yes, all-star conversation at least. I mean, look, it depends on the record. All-star voting starts after 20 some odd games. If the Knicks could continue hanging around 500, maybe a little bit higher than 500, and he puts up whatever the numbers he's putting up right now. I think I looked it up earlier today. I think he's one of 14 or coming into tonight. He was one of 14 guys or 15 guys, something like that, averaging little under 18 and at least 7 assists. So that's going to go up. He's going to probably, I think, be averaging 20 and 8 after this game. 20 and 8 on a winning team where you're the unquestioned best player, might get him there. We'll see. Robert Cross with another one. First time, long time, John. Welcome, Robert. Can we talk about Money Mitch and his fine start to the season? Will be a breakout campaign. Hashtag 53 wins. Yeah, I thought, again, I mentioned the minutes earlier because I do think he got a little tired down the stretch, but having him there at full speed, full strength, it makes such a difference in what teams feel that they are able to do around the rim and what they are actually able to do around the rim. And again, I'll go back to what I said a minute ago. If you give them one more wing defender, so he's not so, because right now it does feel like tonight, at least, he was overcommitted in terms of all of the different things he kind of had to pay attention to and defend, and like be here and there. And I'm not saying he can't do it, but I think I would like to see them make life a little bit easier for him. I'll say that. Good comment, though. As always, Robert. We love you, Robert. Manny Campos, I think this is your first super chat this year. Welcome. Most important thing the Knicks got this offseason wasn't a point guard. It was a closer. Well said. Well said. Nothing to add to that. No way they win that game in any of the last 8 years. JB is underpaid. Any of the the last 8 years. Yes, 100%. The last 8 years. I mean, the team 2 years ago. Does the team 2 years ago win this game? I mean, they won a lot of these sorts of games. But you think back to like who hit the big shots. Like that was a real team effort. Like Derrick Rose was obviously on the floor for a lot of those minutes. Derrick Rose probably made the most big shots for that team late game situations. Does that team win this game? I don't know. Maybe they might have, but like other than that, yeah, you're dead on for sure. Next up, him. Oh, I love it. I'm gonna leave that up there as I blow my nose. Sorry, everybody. Still playing injured. Hopefully, this pesky cold will go away by Friday's game. That's great. I love that. Can I wear that costume this Halloween? I'm supposed to be a flying monkey from The Wizard of Oz. I'd rather be Jalen Brunson, aka him.
Hi, John.
Hi.
I just for the podcast audience, what I put up is a tweet from the Knicks account. There's a meme going around on Twitter lately where you put up a costume of somebody, and there's a costume of Jalen Brunson, and the costume is him. So you can watch
Capital H.
Capital H. It says in asterisk, basketball not included. Yeah, I'm gonna put up other stuff throughout the production, but fun post game so far. Can I ask a favor, by the way? And he chimes in later on with a super chat.
Sure.
So, happy birthday to the one and only Pastor Hiram Claudio. His birthday was yesterday. So everybody in the chat already gave him love. Thank you to that. Everybody in the YouTube audience, if you want to give him love later, go ahead. Nick's got a W for your birthday, Pops. Happy to say it. Okay, next super chat.
Happy birthday, Pastor Claudio. Thank you for being the father of best producer in the business and a better friend.
Your best accomplishment is me. Yes, absolutely. Happy birthday, Dad.
James Choi. I'm still looking at him on this. There we go. Okay. Not a great game against an undermanned team, but this is what better teams do. Yeah, well said. Win the games you need to, especially at home. Yes. Thank you. 3 games at home, 3 wins that you were supposed to get. Go do what you're supposed to do. What a difference a point guard makes. Completely agree with that. Got another soundbite from Tom Thibodeau. When he was asked about the ovations Julius Randle got when he hit big buckets tonight, said, basketball is important to the city and the Knicks are important to the city. There is great appreciation for when a player gives great effort. And that is something that Julius Randle did tonight. He gave great effort. Next up, Kevin Danishevsky. JB as an all-star prediction to the bank. Julius's process was great, even if he missed shots. Again, to the extent his process could ever be great, and I'm in agreement with you, Kevin, to be clear, but like his processing is never going to be exactly as you like it, but it was about as I was fine with it tonight. Definitely, it was as good as it could be. You hope for better results next time, for sure. We miss Quentin Grimes. Yes. I'm a Fournier defender, but he can't play in crunch time. I don't. Like, I was the one who was worried about this turning into a crap on Fournier pod. I don't want it to turn it into that or post game. Because his shooting is important and his offense is important. just not convinced at this point it's important enough to continue giving him the minutes that he is getting in a starting role for this team. He played 24 minutes tonight, which is actually pretty impressive when you consider, game went into overtime. Of course, he did foul out. So yeah. Matt, Aussie Knicks fan, what's going on? Always appreciate you. Work break couldn't have come at a better time. Sweating like a madman at 1:30 p.m. I'm sweating too. I don't remember that even if the temperature in this room is like good, when I have all these, I have 4 lights on me when I do these things. It's insane. I should turn the air on. Let's go Knicks 27-13 and 7 for JB. I can't believe he is our point guard. And again, it's like, this is to me another reason why Knicks fans are the best fans in the world. Like we realize, like most of us do at least, like Jalen Brunson isn't a top 10 NBA point guard. He's not. And that's because this is an era of like lead ball handlers that we've never seen in the sport before. And if you rank the top 50 players in the sport, probably at least 15 are point guards, if not more. Andrew's saying he's top 5. After tonight, you could make that case. Like, maybe he gets in the conversation. I shouldn't be dismissive of him as a top 10 point guard. Does he get in the conversation for the top 10 if he keeps doing this all year? Sure, I think he does. But like, again, to the point that I was trying to make, if you listed out the top 50 players in the league, I think at least 15 are guys that who are considered nominal point guards. So obviously not a rate that is commensurate with the number of players in the league. That's the only reason, if he's not considered a top 10 point guard, why he's not considered a top 10 point guard. But man, this dude, again, I probably would have had him around 40, 45 on my personal player ranking list before the year. Maybe that looks silly sooner rather than later. And I am a huge fan of his. I was a huge fan of his all summer and going back to the last few years. So I was already pretty high on him. Forgotten NYC, going from Payton to Brunson just seems unfair. You're forgetting someone, but yes, going from Elfrid Payton to Jalen Brunson does seem unfair. Michael Aaron, what's going on, man? Great to see you. RJ's still in his own head. I took how many super chats before we brought up RJ? But his free throws have been great. Yeah, let's look at some positives. So 4 clutch free throws down the stretch. That's big. He'll settle in. The shot will fall. Brunson is the most underrated player in the league. So this was a weird one. The stat line for RJ tonight, 9 for 21 for 22 points. So if we're going by like, I should also say 8 rebounds. If we're going by like RJ's efficiency barometer, it's like, did he score more points than shots that he took? Okay. It was okay. That's not the way it is for most players. And if you need to be reminded that that's not the way it is for most players, again, look at Jalen Brunson's stat line and how many shots he took to get his 27 points. But I digress. I didn't think RJ played a good game. And I say that specifically because it was more than just missing shots, and it was more than just probably taking, yet again, some shots he shouldn't have taken. 1 assist to 4 turnovers. 1 assist to 4 turnovers. You are a guy who came into the league with one of your primary things that people were excited about with you is like, oh, he's like, there's real playmaking potential with RJ Barrett, okay. Your assists per 36 minutes are pretty much the same through 3 years. Your assist percentage has gone up a little bit over his first 3 years. It's down this year. It's going to go down even more after tonight. Like, I get it. You're in your head. You try to prove yourself. You got to pay a lot of money. I get all that. It's a little frustrating right now. And it's the defense, too. And I did not think he had a great defensive game. I thought he turned it on a little bit later. I thought he had some, like when they were really bearing down late fourth quarter, overtime. I thought he had some nice defensive possessions then for sure. 100%. Did not think that was the case for the whole game. I think he'll be fine. And hopefully he will be. And that is that. Colin Reardon, what's going on, Colin? Jalen Brunson's the most impactful Knicks free agent since ever. Yes, ever. So Colin says, I'm 19 and definitely not in my lifetime. So, there's like a hive out there. Not a hive. I don't know. There's an argument. I don't know how valid of an argument it is, but there is an argument for Amare because without Amare, does Melo essentially demand a trade to the Knicks? And, say what you want about the Melo trade. I'm not going to talk about that right now, but like the Knicks, that was their most successful season in the last 20 years. I don't think you could say Amari when, the vast majority of that contract ended up being really bad. And then going back before that, you can go to, you go to Allen Houston initially, like the first Houston contract. He was the Knicks' second best player / third best player for those first couple of years. Took him to a finals. Andrew's reminding me that Jeremy Lin was signed in free agency. Love you, Jeremy. Love the doc. So happy I got to talk to you. Jalen Brunson's better free agent signing than you. And you look at and like I'm trying to think of like what else. I'm sure there's some ones from the 90s that I'm like, but like if you go through all of like the notable players in their history and the guys that have impacted winning in a serious way, a lot of those guys were either drafted by the team or they were traded, or they traded for them. I think there's a real argument that he's the best free agent signing the team's ever made. And I would need to think about it some more, but like other than Houston, I'm not even sure it's close. So we'll see. I'm curious if some other people have some answers. King JR, what's going on, King? Crazy game tonight, but we got the win. Damn right. Potentially by a damn toenail. Take that, Kevin Durant. Drew P, I want to see Grimes in that starting unit. Okay. To be very clear, that is my default answer. And I think Grimes deserves it. If what we hear about what he does behind the scenes and in practice and how much work he puts in, if any of that is half true, and considering it's Tibbs that's saying it, I think it's fully true. I think you should start. And I think if it's not him for whatever reason, and you're going to take IQ or Fournier out, I think IQ deserves it. I think he's earned it. And yet, and again, I'm not in the Cam Hive. I've never gone near the Cam Hive. I'm allergic to bees, for Christ's sake. There is a part of me that I'd just be really curious to see how that unit would function. And I know, and like Cam, he's got to hit shots. He was 1 of 2 from deep tonight, 1 of 3 overall. Didn't take a lot of shots. Thought he played within himself. I'd be curious to see that. But again, Grimes, default answer, I think, for sure. Carolina Knicks fan, Jalen fucking Brunson. Amen to that. Nothing to add there. Well said. Sean Ahern, Jalen's face did not change through the many peaks and valleys of this game. He steadies the ship. I mean, yes, he steadies the ship, but fuck steadying the ship. How about making baskets? I mean, just getting tough. We could sit here and we could go through all of the different shots that he hit, but I would argue that the biggest one was when they were down by 3. It was 117-120. Hornets were up, and he just calmly walks into a 3-pointer and he nails it. And then he hit another 3 in overtime. And then he broke down the defense and hit a wide open Mitch for the easiest points he's had all year. Like, just can't say enough. Shot maker, closer, point guard. Sam Roth, what's going on, Sam? Can we complain about Rose's playing time if he's going to score 12 points in 12 minutes? Hashtag efficiency, hashtag 53 wins, and hashtag Brun like the wind. Like that one. That's a good one. I think Rose with Brunson, and especially Rose with Brunson and IQ, it's very small. It's very small. And you can tell me all about Emmanuel Quickley's wingspan and, Brunson is tough as nails and the whole thing. That's tough. That's tough to get by. with that limited size. So you're kind of talking, Rose over IQ, or you're kind of talking Rose over IQ, or like Rose over Brunson. I don't think we want. I mean, Brunson, I want him on the floor as much as possible. Play Rose over IQ in games when he has it going. Okay, sure. This could have been one of those nights. Quickly played 19 minutes. Rose played 12. I still think there's something else going on there. I don't know what it is. The fact that he is consistently not playing more minutes strikes me as something that cannot be an accident. Can't. I think he's just not ready to play more yet. Good question, though, Sam. Next up, TK, thank you for the contribution. I'd like to thank Mark Cuban and every Mavs exec who thought it was beneath them to pay Jalen Brunson. In your opinion, John, do you put Brunson, if you put Jalen Brunson on the 2020 Knicks team, do we win that first round matchup? Wow, my favorite question of the season so far. And by the way, what you want to really, I mean, talk about mismanagement. Brunson has said, he has gone on the record and said, if they had offered me the 4 for 54, 4 for 55, whatever it was, before in January, this year, in January, I would have taken it. And they didn't. And they didn't because they thought, you know what? Maybe we have to include him in a trade at the trade deadline. I mean, if you're a Mavs fan, how do you grapple with that? That's organizational malpractice, right there. I mean, but that's their problem. Do they win that playoff series? You know what? Fuck it. Yeah, they do. And you know why they do? They win it because they win game 1. Because they lost game 1 by the skin of their teeth. And if they had someone to just make a few more plays. Now, Jalen Brunson 2 years ago is not Jalen Brunson now. Or a year and a half ago is not Jalen Brunson now. So, but I think they win game 1. Probably win game 2. At the very least, you're coming to game 5 at the Garden. Yeah, screw it. Sure. I think they win it. Yeah, why not? I don't know if they beat Philly, but I think they beat Atlanta. All right. Sorry. Second nose blow of the night. Keep track, Andrew. Jean-Baptiste Perron. I had forgotten what it was to see my Knicks blowing a lead at 3 a.m. where I'm getting up in 4 hours. Shout out to all the European Knicks fans. JB is the man. Shout out to all Knicks fans all over the world. Watching me, not watching me. You guys, there's a reason why I think it's the best fan base in sports. And I mean that. When you factor in everything. How crappy they've been. How many of us there are. Whew. Good stuff. Next up. Thank you, Gene. Jean-Baptiste, excuse me. Mr. Pinon. We appreciate you. David Crockett, what's going on, Dave? It's great to see you, my man. Hope all's well. Happy as a clam tonight. That said, we may need to vary the way we play perimeter defense, the way Charlotte did sometimes. Give an opponent a hedge, a trap, something different every now and then. Well, I'll quote Tibbs. Are you giving it max effort? And are you executing? If you're giving max effort and you're executing, if the answers to those questions are yes, and it's not working, you change it up. If the answer to one or both of those questions are no, then we're going to keep at it. I got to tell you, I don't think he's wrong. And I don't think he's wrong because I do think we have 2 years worth of evidence with this defensive system that it works. The numbers say it works. I think Charlotte had a really good shooting night. And there was a little bit of a malaise. Could they stand to switch it up every now and then? For sure. But as far as their base of what they do, I like the base. But to your point, switch it up every now and then, 100%. Yeah, for sure. But you got to walk before you could crawl, before you could run. Or no, sorry, I mixed that up. You got to crawl before you could walk, before you could run. That's the correct order. What is it? Trot, canter, gallop. I think that's it too. Anyway, I've gone off the rails. Only 40 minutes in. Jay Wright, let's keep it real. JB is exposing the fact that the rest of these guys ain't that good. Head and shoulders better than the roster. I mean, I think it's a little harsh. I think they have. I still think that there's real depth here. I don't think most of the players on the team have played well for the most part this year. I think Mitch has played very well. I think Julius has played very well. I think Quickly has had his moments. I think Cam has had his moments. I think Obi's had his moments. Man, let's talk about 42 minutes in the first time I mentioned Obi Toppin. Hardenstein has had his moments. Derrick Rose has had his moments. He has moments tonight. All these guys have had their moments. I think they will get better. I don't think they've played their best basketball yet. I think RJ will get a lot better. I hope to God he gets a lot better. But is he, in my personal opinion, clearly the best player on this roster? Yeah. But I've thought that since the day they signed them. So, Requiem Gaming. Oh, we're going back to the Land of Enchantment. Here we go. New Mexico. I remember this time. Hello from the Land of Enchantment. Tonight, I'm enchanted, winning consecutive games. We would have lost last year. Resilient Knicks, Jew beasting on the boards at the end. JB better than my ulcer medication. That's great. Yeah, Julius, some came up big in the toughness department for sure. Towards the end of this one, I agree with that. James Johnson, I thank you for the contribution. I don't think RJ has the lateral quickness to be a good perimeter defender. Great win. Man. I mean, I'm just catching at the corner of my eye. There's a new Black Panther trailer. That's pretty good. Good perimeter defender. If you don't have good lateral quickness, I mean, I think, no, I don't think he has great lateral quickness. And he shouldn't be chasing around point guards. But I think he moves pretty well. I think he moves well enough. I just don't know that he... I don't know that his technique is sound enough to make up for his physical deficits. And I think if he got a little bit more sound on his technique, and also, quite frankly, I don't know how else to say this. I think if he tried harder all the time, again, watch how hard Jalen Brunson defends every possession. It doesn't always go well, but watch how hard he defends every possession. And RJ just doesn't do. And there's most players, to be very clear, most players in the league don't do that. And very few stars do that. But then it gets back to the conversation of what is your role long term on a winning team? And I'm happy nobody brought up the article that came out in which anonymous people around the Knicks, whatever, are saying that RJ's he's defending the best player every night. That's why he's struggling. He's making up for Brunson's deficiencies. Brunson tries his ass off, and that's forget half the battle. That's 2/3 of the battle. RJ needs to do that, all the time. And I know this is not the comp that people want to hear, but guess who tries his ass off every defensive possession? Mikal Bridges. Now, does RJ Barrett have the defensive aptitude of Mikal Bridges? No, he does not. He also doesn't have the physical attributes. I mean, Mikal's arms are 12 feet long. Mikal Bridges first team all defense last year. And he's a very different role. Very different role than RJ. His off-ball role, it's easier, you could argue. Maybe a little less taxing. Okay, whatever. But I don't know. I wouldn't mind seeing RJ skew a little bit more towards the guy who was I'm going to expend most of my energy on that end of the court. Because the notion that he's tired on offense again, which I don't even want to talk about that stupid article because it's so ridiculous. The notion that he's been expending too much energy on defense, and that's why, like, he hasn't, because you could see it on the tape. It's right there. It's right there on the tape. So that would be my comment on that. Greg Film Stuff. What's going on, Greg? Jesus. At the end of tight games, I only want the ball in Jalen's hands, period. Yeah, we were saying that on the playback. Like, Brunson, please. As an RJ fan, he will turn me into a villain if he doesn't convert his layups. It's actually getting ridiculous, but kudos for 2 huge free throws. 4 huge free throws. 4 huge free throws. Give credit where credit is due. I mean, the last one he missed off of the Julius miss, I think, right? I don't know. I don't know what high level analysis there is to say other than making shots is important to be a good basketball player, especially if those shots are within 3 or 4 feet from the hoop. That's all. He'll get better. He'll get better. He'll get better. He'll get better. Right? TK, I thought Cam defensively changed the game when Evan fouled out. I don't know about change the game, but I don't think they win it without him. I'll say that. Goes to show we still really need Grimes. RJ did improve his free throws at least. Everybody's leaning on the free throws. Yeah, I thought the Oubre airball 3 that went out of bounds on Randall under the basket, I thought Cam bothered that shot. He also got down the floor quick on a possession where, like, it was a transition in overtime and, like, guys were not getting down the floor, and he got down the floor, and I think he disrupted the play, although I think Jalen Brunson actually got the steal or, like, deflected the ball or whatever it was. Yeah, his defense was great. 100%. Requiem Gaming, again, not enchanted by cell service at the ABQ airport. I'm sorry about that. I don't know where the ABQ airport is. Can someone... I guess that's the the Albuquerque airport. Duh. Land of Enchantment. Hey, Pastor Claudio, super sticker. Happy birthday, Pastor Claudio. You are the best. Andrew, I don't know if you want to come on here and say happy birthday one more time. You're more than welcome to.
No, I'm good. Happy birthday, Dad.
Matt Smith, thank you for the contribution, Matt. I'll be honest, I was expecting far more than borderline regression from year 4 RJ. But a win is a win. These next 7 games will be very telling. 2-5 seems about right. I think go 2-5 at the very least. And we've been talking about these next 7 games. Let's actually say what the next 7 games are. So, Friday night at Milwaukee, who sent the Nets to, what are the Nets? 1-3 now, I think. Whatever. Fuck Brooklyn. Not the borough of Brooklyn, which I love, and I live here. I'm very happy, but fuck the Nets. So they're at Milwaukee. Then they go to Cleveland on Sunday. 2 days off. Atlanta at home. I have a feeling that's gonna be a big game. At Philadelphia. Philadelphia 1-4 after losing in Toronto tonight. Philadelphia over the last several years, obviously a massively tough matchup for the Knicks. Then Boston at home. My goodness. Although, again, Boston got beaten pretty soundly the other night by, I forget who. Not a great team, I don't think. And they were in it to the end against Orlando. And then at Minnesota, at Brooklyn. Minnesota has struggled. Brooklyn has struggled. So next 7 games, playing a lot of teams that have struggled. I mentioned Atlanta. Atlanta struggled on defense. Probably the team that's playing the best out of all of them, other than Milwaukee, might be Cleveland. Which is, whatever. We don't have to go there. Win 2 of those games. Win 2 of those games at the very least. I think you could win 3. I don't think asking for 3 wins is too much. Can I share a Nets related thing? Per Alex Schiffer, Ben Simmons said he tweaked his back and wasn't as aggressive afterwards. Said we'll see how he feels tomorrow, but he plans to play. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Next up, You just gonna let me smile for a minute, Andrew? David Crockett. Hashtag let Brunson burn. I love that. That might be my favorite one yet. Good job by you, David Crockett. Jacob Reali, thank you again for the very generous contribution, Jacob. I think one of the big takeaways from this game that may go overlooked tonight is the team free throw shooting 19 for 22. Yes, they were one of the best teams in basketball last year at free throw rate. I don't know where their free throw rate numbers are right now. Probably right around the middle, maybe a little bit worse. But they couldn't capitalize on it last year because they were bottom 5 in making free throws. So yeah, it seems like they've been better from the line, and obviously they needed all of those free throws to win this game tonight. Especially RJ, who not only went 4 for 4, but did it with the game on the line, down in the fourth, and then in OT. Man, you would have had to given me some odds to bet that RJ would go 4 for 4 in that spot, in those two spots. So great job by him. Made him when he counted. Love it. Absolutely love it. Andrew's in our text chain saying the Knicks are going to go 7-0. I'm going to hold you to that, Andrew. Juanon, what's going on, Juanon? Am I crazy thinking RJ should spend a lot more time with the second unit? I'm going to dig into this one in a sec. A 3-1 start is nice, but the real test comes over the next 7 games with playoff teams on tap. I would love a world where when RJ played as more of an off-ball, played in more of an off-ball role with the first unit, you could still get your drives in, attack the closeouts, the whole thing. But you're shooting a lot of threes and ideally making a lot of threes. And then you get an early hook for maybe a more traditional shooter, and I'm not sure that shooter is on this team right now. Maybe it's Quickly, whatever. We like how Quickly looks oftentimes with the starting unit. So maybe that's the way you get your Quickly minutes. And then RJ plays a not insignificant amount of time with the second unit every game, even if that's like 6 or 8 or 10 minutes is probably pushing it, but probably like 6 or 8 minutes. And then he kind of runs those units to a certain extent. And he gets more on-ball opportunities with those units against other teams' backups where you don't have another team's best rim protector in the game, making life insanely difficult for you in the paint. And when you have Isaiah Hartenstein spacing the floor and giving you a little bit more room to work on those drives into the paint. Yeah, it takes away Mitch's lob threat. Not ideal, but again, you got to pick and choose your spots. I don't think it's nuts. It's my 2 cents. Rage X, all hail Jalen Brunson. Real quick, Embiid to NY. One step at a time. Embiid ain't going anywhere until after this season, and even then, I think you could argue it's probably a little bit too early. But if this Philly season keeps going really sideways and they don't make up for it in the playoffs, I think you're going to hear a lot of chatter. Nomadic Knicks fan, what's going on, Nomadic Knicks fan? Brunson is clutch. Randall is good, as Clyde would say. RJ is aiming his threes. Preseason, he was stroking with more of an arc. I agree. It will come. I can't wait to have Grimes, Cam, and IQ as closing options. For sure. Yeah, for sure. This team misses Grimes. There's no doubt about it. This team misses Grimes. They need Grimes. They need Grimes to get where they want to go, to be as good as they want to be. All the things. DDD 137. I like that name. I would have had to log off for like a week if we hadn't won. Thank Christ, LMAO. What's amazing about, I don't know, sports fandom, about this team and how we follow this team? It's one game, right? It's one game in an 82-game season. And yet, if they had lost this game, it would have felt like the world had ended and the sky is falling. Unbelievably. It's just and we're talking about, games like this turn on a trifle. Again, his shoe was on the line by forget centimeter, like millimeter. millimeter. It was that close. It was that close. That's baseball, Susan. What can you say? Dan Hidalgo. Thanks, Dan. I was trying to resist, but since Rage brings it up, do you think this team, relatively still intact, plus a top 10 guy, instantly becomes contenders? Yeah, the relatively still intact is doing a lot of heavy lifting there. I mean, you're telling me if you're okay, so let's just, because I think he's the only top 10 player in the league right now that has a realistic chance of getting traded to the Knicks, unless I'm forgetting someone. Yeah, let's do Mitch, Fournier, and Mitch, Fournier, and I don't know. You have to send a young player out in that deal. So more salary, or maybe you don't even need the salary. Maybe it comes on like when the cap goes up or something. For argument's sake, let's say it's Mitch and Fournier. I know the money doesn't work, but let's just say, for argument's sake, for Embiid and all of the draft picks, like literally every protected pick, every pick the Knicks own, every swap, like the whole thing. Embiid demands out, and like nobody else that like is a reasonable contender for him or his services has enough picks to trade, and Philly wants the picks. Whatever. Just to make this semi-realistic. The Knicks become a contender. They become a contender. I don't know if they're an inner circle contender. But then again, you look at the league right now, it's like, how many inner circle contenders are there based on what we've seen so far? It's Milwaukee, it's Boston, it's Golden State. I don't know. Are the Clippers an inner circle contender? Maybe. Who am I missing? Like, I don't know. Denver, you want to put Denver in there? Like, there's not that many inner circle contenders, and sometimes you get someone from outside the inner circle that wins. So yeah, would you call them a contender after a trade like that? Sure, why not? Good question. Mitchell Robinson. It's a motherfucking block party. This is a tweet from Mitch from I don't know when, with a hand emoji, a basketball emoji, and a a cross, like the red circle with the cross through it emoji. Hosted by Mitchell Robinson. You heard me. I love the energy on this team. I love the vibe on this team. I love that they got a win tonight and all the vibes are out. It's just fantastic. By the way, per Fred Katz, Mitchell Robinson said goodnight to reporters tonight by yelling, "See ya, Buccos," when we left the locker room. I'm going to go ahead and retweet that right now. Fantastic stuff. Kevin Danishevsky, what's going on, Kev? I know it wouldn't have made sense tonight, but I would love a Brunson Rose closing sometimes. They'd be unstoppable if both are on. Wonder if we see it. I would absolutely bet money that at some point this year you see Rose and Brunson close a game together. Yep. For sure. Jacob Slavitt. What's going on, Jacob? Hey, John. First time, long time. Thanks for contributing, Jacob. Would it be fair and reasonable to say, I love this bit, that JB will be an all-star starter? Oh, my God. Bruns him. Hashtag Bruns him. Hashtag Robert I think you meant to say imposter, but Imcroster is pretty good. I don't know what that's a play on. Before I answer that question, I've been looking for this tweet and I finally found it. Cam Reddish was asked where his confidence is right now. He said sky high, and he asked what his mindset was tonight. Make an impact no matter how it may be, whether it's getting a bucket, getting a stop, getting a rebound, just trying to make an impact. I love that. I love the attitude from Cam right now. Love the vibes on this team. So basically the question here is are there two guards who are going to get an obscene amount of votes? Because starters are still predominantly, based on fan votes. I'm looking through the standings real quick. Two guards. I feel like Trae Young doesn't have that level of fan support. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. LaMelo, I don't feel like is there yet, especially if he's going to be injured. Kyrie, oh boy. Harden will probably get a lot of votes if he's putting up numbers. But then again, if Philly is like, shit, there's a lot of Knicks fans out there. Man, would that be insane that he might get voted in by the fans predominantly as an all-star starter? I mean, Andrew Wiggins got voted in. Obviously, Warriors, like, they have fans all over the globe, and I get that. But there are a lot of Knicks fans out there, too. That's a good question. I mean, shit. Maybe not insane. Nomadic Knicks fan. Evan and Obi plus a Milwaukee 25 first. The Milwaukee 25 first. Top 4 protected. For Boucher and Thad Young. Chris Boucher and Thad Young. I can't. Let me read the rest of the comment first. Would give us a better defensive stretch big option to close with, and Thad is the new Taj. LOL. Yeah, I don't think they're giving up Evan and a pick. Pretty good pick. Or at least a high upside pick. I don't know about it. Good pick. And Obi for Boucher and Thad Young. Thad Young, and Boucher are they might help you. They might be rotation players. Thad Young's really old. I'm not sure if this team needs to be investing assets in Thad Young. I'm going to go ahead and say no to that one politely. I'm not giving up on Obi just yet. I'm not saying his future is with this team. And if I was him, quite frankly, I'm probably not thrilled with my role right now, but it doesn't seem like it's bothering him. And credit to him for that. All the credit in the world to him for that. But yeah. Haitian Ferg, agreed. Cam's defense will make him a starter. Do you slide RJ to the 2 guard, or do you start Cam at 2? Either way, it's our best defensive lineup. I mean, I don't really care. I mean, I would put Cam on the more threatening wing player. I would tell him, go be an all-defense candidate. And then RJ guards the other wing. You stick Brunson on the least threatening guy, and everything else stays the same. I mean, Brunson's already, for the most part, on the least threatening guard, but he was also guarding, Cade the other night. So I really don't think this is nuts, this notion. I can't believe I'm saying that, too. Next up, yes, Andrew.
Hi. I'm going to give you a breather because I know how you're feeling. So figure we're about an hour in. We've got a bunch left because Knicks fans are excited.
I love it.
I want to also, because I'm one of the best that there is, humbly bragging there. You've mentioned some quotes throughout the night. Would you like to watch the videos of said quotes throughout the night? So this is Cam Reddish on his approach, or how he's feeling this season.
Tonight.
My personal mindset was make an impact, no matter how it may be, whether it's getting a bucket, getting a stop, getting a rebound, trying to make an impact. I know as a group, they were trying to be tough, communicate on all screens, things like that. I think we did a good job of it.
That was that. Then here's Julius Randle on overcoming adversity.
Tom was talking about just dealing with adversity, but playing through it and having success through it. What does that tell you about?
Did it pause for you?
It did.
Okay. Well, we'll try and get that fixed next week. And then let me try it one more time.
Tom was talking about just dealing with adversity, but playing through.
Man, you think you got it all figured out, and then it just doesn't work. You guys heard the quotes. I'll try to get this fixed for next week, or at least next game, I should say. And then here's one more. Not one more. The next super chat is actually directed at me and you.
Go for it. Forgotten NYC. Random. How did you and GMAC originally meet?
I believe you went on Twitter looking for a producer, and then you searched far and wide, and I just happened to win a contest, and not only became producer, but you're the person that writes your calendar and all the above. We knew each other from Twitter. I used to host a Knicks podcast.
You asked me to come on your pod
a bunch of times. Yeah.
The first one wasn't it the 5 most disappointing moments in Knicks modern history or something?
We had linked a couple times because.
And you would come to some fan events.
Yeah, that's honestly the when John and I met.
That's when we met.
We threw a bunch of meetups with like Terry and Trey and Knicks Fan TV, and this is like pre-Strickland, so it was posting and toasting, and that's what
yeah.
like Alex was there, Schwinn was there, all of the Knicks content creators that you know and love were all there, and I was with. And I want to be clear, I know that there is a YouTube channel called Nothing But Knicks. 7 months before that YouTube channel started, I started a podcast called Nothing But Knicks. They're two different things. One doesn't exist anymore. I gave you full reins, Sim. Okay, so there's no conflict there whatsoever. Sim is good people. But when I decided that I no longer wanted to be there, and Jeremy was moving on to be your co-host, I was taking like 3 months to figure out what I want to do with my life. And I told you, if I can keep my producer legs fresh, do you want a producer to help you run things? Because I wanted to make sure I was still, sharp throughout 2020. Ironically, I joined the show, and then all Knicks games went away for like 9 months because the pandemic happened. So
that was fun.
I remember saying to you, hey, the numbers are going up, and like we might actually have something here if you want to move to YouTube. And you know how everybody, I know I'm taking a while for this, I want to give John a break. You know how everybody was like during the pandemic, I'm gonna learn a skill, and like if I ever wanted extra time to do something, now I have it. I learned how to produce video as best as I possibly could, and it's why the YouTube channel looks the way it does. The skills are there, and the rest is kind of history. So I think that's
as I say,
that's how John and I, how the bond was made, and originally met because we were trying to create content during the 17-win 2019 season. Good
question, good answer. You want to stick around for a bit?
Sure.
Yeah, let's get some of these super chats up here. Brian, what's going on, Brian? Brian Valderrama. RJ needs to play a full 48 minutes of defense. He doesn't. Well, let's start with however many minutes he's in the game. Like, I'm okay with him taking a possession off here and there, but like, I need more than he's given right now for sure.
I'd be fine with not mediocre defense, below what we expect defense if there was more than we expect shooting going on.
Just looking at the Jazz beat the Rockets tonight. Lauri Markkanen, 24 points on 15 shots, 9 rebounds.
What's the odds right now? Most improved?
I said it the other night when I was watching the Jazz play the Pelicans, and Markkanen was just having his way. Like that's a most improved. That's a real most improved bet that you should make right now. Next up, Mensa Smith. What's going on, Mensa? Jalen Brunson was huge, but maybe the biggest thing for this season's Knicks, RJ Barrett left no doubt from the free throw line. He might be, Mensa might be right up there with Robert Cross as like predominant RJ.
It's Mensa, Robert Cross, Yash, and Jeremy E.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You got to remember
those four. And I'll just say Mensa from the KFS pregame show hit again on his pregame bet that he predicted tonight. I forget which one it was, but he did hit tonight. So all 3 out of 4 on the KFS pregame show when we did betting and sweating.
I love it.
Just apologies for being the one person that didn't make it. Julius Randle, just minus 140 to get a double-double. Tonight, he picks the game to get 6 rebounds. Next up.
Luffy, thank you. Jalen Brunson All-Star campaign starts now. I like it. I'm here for it.
I'm very happy for it.
I'll be happy to get on that train. Nick Ridza, love KFS and the post-game live streams. Thank you. We love you. I like Cam in the starting lineup over Evan. Maybe when Q gets back, Boston would want Evan back. Go Knicks. Yeah, Evan's not a real tradable contract right now, unfortunately. And the reason for that is teams over the last several years have been pretty responsible with their money. Not in all cases, but you look around at potential trades involving where you could get away with, a straight up deal with under the cap involving Evan. And you look at it, basically what you're looking for is for other teams that have like salary that they're not playing right now, or like, just like whatever. There's not like those contracts aren't out there for teams that are really trying to win. And I think what it's going to come down to, unfortunately, is like them trading him. And going to a team and being like, we'll give you the pick, but we want a playable guy back, which doesn't really do anything to clear up the rotation jam, which then leads you to like, okay, well, is it just Evan going out or is there another trade somewhere in the works? And that's where you know, everything with this team, it's nothing simple. You know, it's always complications.
You said it during playback. The Knicks don't like to lose a lot of trades. They're not willing to just dump Evan. So it's like the only really thing you could do to get him off immediately is probably attach a pick to him. And the only team I think that would give you something for him is the Lakers, and it's like a second, if that. So I'm not 100% sure there's anything to trade Evan Fournier for, but you know, we'll see.
By the way, after tonight, Knicks 5th ranked offense in the league.
Yep.
And still a top 10 defense. They're the 8th ranked defense and 5th ranked net rating. Giddy up.
Hashtag 45 win.
There you go. Zach Carr, what's going on, Zach? How you doing? Knicks overpaid for Brunson in the caps and then lowercase.
Oh, yeah. Knicks overpaid for Brunson.
That's like the SpongeBob writing?
Yes, it's a SpongeBob meme, yeah.
Show I still have never watched. Hey, brother, fun game. Glad I made my wife and child watch. Me too. Charlotte is well coached and caught a ton of breaks. They caught some breaks for sure. There was the refs were not good tonight. Knicks won a tight one. Long season. These matter. Cheers. Cheers to you, my friend, as well.
Do you want to know the last time a Knick had 27 and 13 in a game? Specifically 27 points, 13 assists.
Oh, like that? Those exact numbers?
Yes. Well, not at least 27 points, at least 13 assists.
I mean, the name that first came to mind was Marbury, but that can't be it.
So Randall did it 2 years ago.
Oh, okay.
And Jeremy Lin did it, and he's the last guard to do it.
Okay.
During Linsanity. Only 2 Knicks have ever done it ever with a 66% efficiency, and it's Michael Ray Richardson and Rory Sparrow.
Ooh, there's some names
from the 80s.
Specifically, Rory Sparrow. Sergio Acosta, thank you for the contribution. I love Action Brunson's high level. I love all the nicknames. High level composure and ability to make plays for himself and the team. Killer Cam with good defense down the stretch. Tough game, but we pulled it off. Let's go Knicks. Yeah, I'm loving the Cam love here tonight.
He deserves it.
Yeah, he does for sure. Drazov, thanks again. Man, I missed this one due to past blackouts. I live in South Carolina. That's unfortunate. Yeah, that really sucks. Brunson is officially that dude. I can't wait for the NL tomorrow. Hashtag 53 wins. The NL?
Can't wait for the NL tomorrow. I don't know.
I thought it was just a me thing. I'm not sure what that is either.
I'm going to...
Newsletter.
Oh, there you go. The newsletter tomorrow. Yeah.
I'm going to have fun writing that one.
Give us newsletter in the description below this episode.
I need to find I can't every newsletter can't just be like, thank God we have Jalen Brunson, because that's what it's turning into.
Hey John, you know what every newsletter can be? Thank God for Jalen Brunson. Very much. You should thank God every day for Jalen Brunson.
Yeah.
Shout out Pastor Claudia.
Okay. Dom Cappuccini, what's going on, Dom? A lot of flack on team defense. The win should have been locked up much earlier. Yeah, this one should not have been this close. Are we overlooking a very dangerous and deep offense even without top guards? Are we overlooking a very dangerous and deep offense even without top guards? Like our offense or like the Hornets offense? I don't know. I'm not sure.
Are they 5th in offensive rating so far?
The Hornets?
Yeah.
After this game, the Hornets are 4th. They were 4th and they are 4th now. Yeah, so top 5 offenses in the league: Dallas, Pelicans, Boston, Charlotte, New York. It's quite a list. And the worst offense in the league by several points, currently playing the Denver Nuggets and losing by 15, the Los Angeles Lakers.
Hey,
one
John.
spot below the Los Angeles Clippers, who are one spot below the Orlando Magic. How about this? Early in the season, the Lakers are almost 8 points per 100 possessions lower scoring than the Magic, who are 28.
Really?
Yeah. Lakers can't score.
They needed to do a move this offseason, and they still need to do a move, and we'll see if they actually do.
Too bad. Sean Hardy, what's going on?
Hey, what up, Sean?
To those who thought we signed Brunson only because he's Leon's godson, please come outside. You know who you are. We just want to talk. Yeah, I mean, again, any of those takes, just ridiculous. Ridiculous in the moment, and even more ridiculous now. Thanks, Sean. You're the man. Bop to you. Thanks for the contribution.
Thank you, Bob. To you. Oh,
Appreciate
he
it.
left his comment. Okay, I shouldn't. He left a comment after his super chat, so I will post the comment. Although
Okay.
he didn't.
Got it. Phenomenal win tonight. How do you feel about Cam's minutes distribution moving forward with Grimes coming back soon? It's the most immediate elephant in the room. I mean, I'm going to double down on what I said 2 nights ago. I don't think Evan Fournier should be in this rotation. Is it the best move for this team today? Does it make them a better basketball team today to eliminate Evan Fournier from the rotation? I'm not sure. It might not. You cannot tell me organizationally that is not a sound move. Can't do it.
If you're getting this version of Cam, then you absolutely can consider it. Like I threw this at you on playback. I'm confused by the Rose 9 and 12-minute games, so I've been wondering if they'd ever consider like.
But I'd much rather have Derrick Rose.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
I'm just confused by it, and I'm not even saying what I would do. I'm confused by the 9 and 12-minute rotations that he's in. So is he being prepped to be the new Taj, where he's just deployed in emergency situations?
I don't see. He's too good, man. I don't see it. And just to Evan, I want to just say, maybe somebody missed what I said the other night. It has to be a basketball decision. It has to be a basketball reason why he's still in the rotation. Because if it's just about the contract, which is something I've said this for a while, he becomes an expiring contract this offseason. So and they're not going to have cap space this summer anyway. They're not. So throw that out the window. So the notion that they would essentially be eating $37 million, or the vast majority of that, because he's still, we're already into the second to last season. Does it matter? Does it really matter? And you never know. You may get some team who wants to just trade for his he doesn't go away. You can still use his salary in a trade. Anyway.
Like you said, it's got to be a basketball reason. And it wouldn't even be comparable because that season had so many other things going on. They're in a better place now than they were in 2019, where they just told Enes Kanter, go away. We're not playing you. We want to see what Mitch looks like.
I mean, he was an expiring though. He was an expiring,
True.
And but again, even so, let's add this to it. We're at the point where nothing Evan Fournier is going to do is going to make some team look at him and be like, yeah, you know what? We want to give an asset to get him. Not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. Next up, Rowan Beckford Sr. Roster pretty much the same, so I think these quick athletic teams will continue to give us problems. Getting quickly back will help, but we're going to have to execute on offense to win. That's why Jalen Brunson rocks. For sure, they need to be a better offensive team, and I think they will be a better offensive team. On defense, again, I think, a little bit of personnel here. If you sub out Fournier for Grimes, I can't believe I'm really going down this path of thinking this might happen. I don't know if I'm crazy. I might be crazy. I think that would help. I think that would help.
If the numbers are, if what our eye test is telling us also match the numbers, I think they'll see it too. They did bench Kemba 20 games into the season last year.
That was different.
I know it was different, but if the numbers are showing they're better with him off the floor, I wonder if that is an avenue they pursue,
Fair. Steven Cordero, Brunson is the best free agent signing since Tyson Chandler, Defensive Player of the Year, always forgotten. New York Knicks ceiling is determined by Brunson's durability. I think Brunson will be fine. I think Brunson's very durable. As far as Chandler being a better free agent signing than Brunson, the reason why I always, and I've spoken about this before, have a little bit of a sour taste in my mouth with the Chandler signing is because they had to amnesty Billups to do it, and they should have never had to amnesty Billups because they should have never picked up Billups' option, and that amnesty should have been reserved for Amari Stoudemire, and I wonder what the future of the Melo teams would have been had they been able to do that. That's neither here nor there. Tyson Chandler, very good free agency signing. Great Nick. Did everything he could have asked for. So yeah, I think Brunson's better though.
Oh yeah, best since Chandler. I would agree with though. Although I also share your as the Melo stan the sentiment that if they had just waited to, I mean, there's Chris Paul conspiracy theories out there whether he would have come here, but if they had waited with that amnesty and used it on Amari instead, but we will never know.
No, we will not.
Mm-mm.
Drazov, if the Knicks squad keeps playing like this, win or lose, with the combo of being in New York City, do the Knicks become a desirable team to a star? So here's I will answer that very, very quickly and say the issue is that they are not going to have cap space this summer, and they're not going to probably have cap space in 2024, although they could have cap space in 2024. I'm getting ahead of myself. It's going to have to be same thing that we've seen for years, which is that, a star asks for a trade and the star has some agency over where he gets to go. I'll say this. I don't think the way the Knicks are playing and how the Knicks are operating as a franchise, I don't think any player would not want to come here and try to get them to the next level. I think a lot of guys would like that challenge.
I agree.
Yeah. CJ Cervantes, what's going on? Big win. Brunson is him, but RJ is unwatchable. Oh man, that's a little harsh.
Those layups are not.
It's hard to watch
thing.
It's hard to watch him miss those shots.
Yes, it is. He's living at the rim though, so I'll give him that. He I think only took 2 shots outside of the paint tonight. That weren't 3-pointers. So like the process is there. That's just the results got to get better.
Yeah.
Oh, this is for us. You never were at PNT, right?
No, I was never there.
So Daniel Gevertz asked, what were you PNT handles? John was never at Posting and Toasting. He was at the Knicks Wall and then at Knicks Film School. I was at Posting and Toasting for one article, and it was really good. And then I realized I don't want to write. And so I think my PNT handle was like literally at Andrew J. Claudio. And then I decided I wanted to do digital media rather than writing, which is why John is the writer of the KFS bunch. So
I'm not going to talk about my past blog experience. I will just say that the Knicks blog that I wrote for, I was told in no uncertain terms when I started there that I wasn't very good and that editing my articles was painful. And I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. How's that newsletter treating you, huh? Can't complain.
Kevin Danishevsky, what's going on, Kev?
Fournier, good Lord, Kevin.
Fournier and Rose to LA for a pick and Russ. You need a third team. Okay, so
every fan base is doing this.
Yeah, I'm just doing the math in my head. Yeah, it doesn't work straight up with the Knicks. Actually, it does work if you include Cam, but we're not going there.
The whole point is to make room for Cam in the line.
Yeah.
Which, how we got here. Wow.
I mean, no, but it works because you have, I think, the Spurs and the Pacers are both still under the cap, way under the cap, right? So you send Russ to one of those teams, and it would have to be a player leaving one of those teams to then come to the Knicks, unless you're. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm going down this fucking road. I think Healed. I think I can't believe I'm doing this. I think if you send Heal, I have to check the numbers. I think if you send Heal to LA and Russ to Indy, I don't know if maybe Indy needs to send out more salary, which would then come to us. Like, yeah, maybe that works. I don't see the Knicks getting involved. I just don't see it. I don't. The Hield trade is there. It's right there. Buddy Hield's a better player than Fournier. That's all there is to it. Maybe not by much. But.
Kevin's asking the follow up. Oh wait, no. He asked. It has his follow up hasn't popped up yet. Here it is.
What about Fournier for Pat Bev straight up, and you waive Pat Bev? Pat Bev is
just
like
trade Fournier to the. Oh, they don't. You need salary to come back.
Yeah.
So the Lakers would need to send something that the Knicks would want
Man,
to help them facilitate what ends up being, because they would just re-sign Pat Bev as soon as he gets waived, right?
no, they can't. They're not allowed to. This league rules.
Don't you have to wait like weeks or something? Like that's happened before.
No, they changed the rule because of the Jerry Stackhouse thing.
Oh, then never
I
mind.
think you can't sign them for a year. I'm just looking at other salaries in the range of salaries that you could do a straight up deal for the player. And oh my God. There is one salary for a player. And someone mentioned this before. Shout out to whoever mentioned this as a trade candidate. Danilo Gallinari's out for the year, right?
Oh yeah. So you trade him to the Celtics for Gallo, and then Gallo's out. So
Is this maybe? Hold on. This contract. This is no. Never mind. This salary is not right. This is not a correct salary. So they can't do that. Sorry. I was looking at. He had like an option or something. That's his salary is wrong in HoopsHype. I don't know why I'm on HoopsHype. You're looking for salaries. Yeah. There's just not. Is Jonathan Isaac ever going to play basketball again?
I'm open to any and all
Oh,
Evan Fournier trades. Oh, never mind. We found it.
here we go. Duncan Robinson. There you go.
So you want to trade for 1.5, 2 guaranteed years plus 1 to 3 guaranteed years. Plus one.
I'm ashamed that I have to ask.
Oh no, he's 2 plus 1. Never mind. He's 2 plus 1 also.
Has he been playing? I don't.
Yes, he has been.
He has been playing. Okay.
The Tyler Hero's starting now though.
I know that.
Yeah. And remember what I said in the preseason about the Heat? I know like it's 4 games. We're all overreacting to this. The conversation around Miami is like, so you really are just going to try with these undrafted guys overachieving. Like they really didn't do anything to overachieve, to upgrade the roster as the East got better. You know, Kyle Lowry looks his age, and they're relying on Dwayne Dedmon and Gabe Vincent. What do you got?
The Spurs are far enough under the cap that you could do a trade for either Doug McDermott or Josh Richardson. But those guys like are good enough to play for someone in the league. So it's like you're just kind of shuffling deck chairs.
They might be looking to upgrade. They're a super team.
They were in it tonight against the Timberwolves. I saw that. Yeah, there's nothing out there. There's just nothing out there. I mean, is Bertans playing? Is Davis Bertans playing minutes for Dallas? Like, you can stick him on your bench.
The problem is Dallas. They're not making any deals with the Knicks anytime soon. Not with this regime, at least. So.
Never say never. That's it.
That's it.
Awesome. Oh, I'm happy. I didn't realize I was like filibustering and like I wasn't even.
No, we were done. I just didn't. This was good content. I felt so. Let it play out.
There you go. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. New pod Friday morning. I never like to say who the guest is, just in case something falls through. But I guess we put it up there, so we got to say it.
That's true. We haven't recorded with her yet, but she is confirmed to join us tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow I'm going to talk to Monica McNutt, of course, of MSG and ESPN. She's fabulous. And I can't wait to pick her brain about the Knicks, about the NBA, because I was happy. We got Dexter on earlier in the week to talk, and he has an NBA pod, so we have to talk a little bit general NBA with him. I'm excited to pick Monica's brain also on how the season has gone so far. Anyway, this was great. Thank you everybody who tuned in. Thank you everybody who contributed. Regular chat, super chat, the whole thing. Thank you, Andrew Claudio, producer extraordinaire.
Yes, sir.
He won a contest. And of course, last but not least, happy birthday, Pastor Claudio. You're the man.
I just want to say to everybody that actually followed directions, I put into the chat, everybody wish him a happy birthday. They all did, and obviously I came on, I forgot. Thank you. Like, one of the cool things about this gig is like getting to be able to do that and make your parents feel appreciated. And thank you for facilitating that, people. That actually does make me happy and mean a lot. So thank you for that.
Over and out.
Over and out. See you guys on Friday.
3-1.